So we've had a couple of requests to walk through how you install pfSense on VMware. So our lab that we go through in the course, we use either VirtualBox as a type 2 hypervisor or Proxmox as a type 1 hypervisor. However, everything we do with VirtualBox, you can also do in VMWARE Workstation, which is also a type 2 hypervisor. However, setting up pfSense is a little tricky. So I'm going to go through how to set up pfSense on VMware. Now, once you get pfSense up inside VMware and you've added all your virtual machines, then everything else will be the same as in the VirtualBox lessons and walkthroughs. I'm going to assume you've already downloaded the pfSense ISO and have installed VMware Workstation. If you haven't already installed the pfSense ISO, refer to the VirtualBox lesson. All right, so we have Workstation open. Select Create a New Virtual Machine, and then I like to select Custom because that allows me to change some of the settings. So then select Next. Okay, then we can go ahead and select Next on this one. And then go ahead and choose the ISO image. Select Browse, then navigate to where you downloaded that pfSense ISO image. Select OK, then select Next. And here you'll just give it a name. I'm going to call it pfSense. And then you browse to where you want to save it once it's created. All right, then we can select Next. Now I'm going to give it 2 processors. It doesn't require a whole lot, but I'll go ahead and bump it up to 2. And for memory, you can get by with 1 GB of RAM. pfSense is not resource intensive, especially the way we'll be using it. So select Next and go ahead and select NAT, N-A-T. And we can go ahead and take the recommended setting there as well as here. Go ahead and select Next on creating a new disk. And once you've done that, the 20 gigabytes is fine. However, we do want to make one change there. We want to put this as a single disk. This makes it easier to do snapshots. We can select Next. We can go ahead and keep the name of the default name of that disk. So select Next. Now, before we select Finish, we want to go ahead and uncheck starting the machine at the completion because we want to do some settings. So then we click Finish. So now we want to go to the settings inside VMware. So click Edit Settings. Now, since we need 3 adapters, we're going to go ahead and add network adapters. So we need to add 2 additional network adapters. So now what we want to do is configure those adapters. So select it and then go down and hit LAN segments. And if there's not any there, we can create some by hitting Add. And we'll just name this LAN _0. While we're here, we'll go ahead and add LAN _1 because we need 2 separate LANs there. Then we're going to assign the first adapter LAN 0 and the second adapter LAN 1. Okay, and then we'll just double check these and make sure that they're set up properly. So we have LAN 0 and then LAN 1. So now we can go ahead and select OK, and then we're ready to go ahead and start pfSense. To save time, I'll pause the video while pfSense starts. Okay, go ahead and we can select Accept. For most of these, we're just going to accept the default. So go ahead and select OK. Select OK. Go ahead and select OK on that. then select OK. All right, we can go ahead and accept that one. And then we will install the Community Edition. We can select OK. OK again. Once again, we're just going to take the defaults on these. And I'll pause the video during the installation again. When that is completed, we can select OK. And go ahead and select Reboot. So pfSense will restart. So it has restarted, but something I like to do is go ahead and we'll shut down pfSense again, because there's one more setting that we need to do after we install pfSense. So we'll just go ahead and select 6 to halt pfSense. So once it is stopped, we want to go to the settings. And then we want to go down to the CD drive, and we want to change that from virtual CD drive to a physical drive. And the reason we're doing that is we do not want to rerun that ISO again. We've already successfully installed pfSense. So now we can go ahead and restart it. Okay, so once we've started, you probably notice there's only 2 adapters at the top there, but that's fine. We'll identify the 3rd adapter that we'd set up. So let's go ahead and select number 1 to assign interfaces. And now you see all 3 adapters. One right now is just currently down, but that's fine. We'll bring it up. So select no. We do not want to set VLANs up at this time, but as I mentioned, we will bring that adapter that's down. We'll bring it up in just a second. Now we want to name each adapter. So we'll just go by default and name them in order. So we'll start out with EM0, and on the second adapter, EM1. And then the 3rd adapter, EM2. Okay, then go ahead and select yes to proceed. So now we want to set IP addresses to the interfaces. So we select number 2. Now we're going to leave the WAN alone. So select number 2 for the LAN. Select no for the DHCP for the LAN. And now we're going to enter the IP address for this LAN. And we're going to use 10.0.1.1. And then we just go ahead and put 24. So that's the /24. On this one, since we're setting the LAN up, we can just go ahead and select enter. And then we'll select no for IPv6 and then just select enter again. Okay, now we'll select yes. We do want to set DHCP up for this adapter. And the range that we want to start with is 10.0.1.10. And the upper range would be 10.0.1.245. So that's the range of IP addresses that that DHCP server will assign. So we want to select no there, and then select enter. So we've got the first adapter set up. So now we can go ahead and set up the second adapter. So select number 2 again. And this time select number 3 for that OPT adapter. We do not want to set it up by DHCP. And then for the IP address, we're going to give this LAN an IP address of 10.0.245. 2.1. And it's /24. And then we can just hit enter again because we're not using the WAN and we do not want IPv6. So we want to go ahead and set up the DHCP, and this time we're going to start the range at 10.0.2.10 and then 10.0.2.245. And we can select enter and select no. All right, select enter. And now you see we've got everything set up just the way we had it set up in VirtualBox. So all the adapters are set to the right IP addresses. And we can test this now by starting a Kali Linux box. All right, before starting the Kali Linux box, we need to make an edit in the configuration, and that is the adapter. And we want to select the LAN segment and then choose the LAN segment that we want this to be on. Let's go ahead and choose LAN segment 1. So remember, LAN segment 1 is going to give an IP address of 10.0.2 and then whatever that fourth octet is. So we can go ahead and start Kali Linux. And then we'll go ahead and log in, just the default password on this particular machine. So it's Kali. Then once it opens up, we want to open a terminal. And once the terminal is open, just type in IP space A to get the IP address. And there you see it. So we got a 10.0.2.10. So that demonstrates that the configuration is set up correctly. And the rest of the setup, it will mirror that of VirtualBox. So like I said before, I'm not going to do complete walkthroughs for setting up the entire lab environment in VMware as I did in VirtualBox, because it's pretty much the same thing. All the, once you get the VMs installed, all the settings and that kind of stuff will be the same as in those VirtualBox lessons. This was just a bonus lesson based on requests from several people on how to set up pfSense in VMware Workstation.